What's going on? Welcome to View the Right Thing, and Winning Time is a dope series, but it ain't a documentary. And because of this, a lot of people are wondering how much of what they see is real and how much is made for TV. The one I did on Larry Bird blew up, and if you haven't seen it, hit that box right there. But today we're going to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his iconic Skyhook. See, Winning Time portrays Jabbar's Skyhook as an unstoppable force, one that both won games and the heart of Magic Johnson with just a flick of the wrist. But really, was it that unguardable? The short answer is yes. I would say that Kareem Skyhook was as inevitable as death and taxes, but in reality, there are occasions where you can avoid death and taxes, but Kareem Skyhook, not so much. So we're going to explore the highlights and career of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to show you exactly why the Skyhook is the ultimate signature move in NBA history. Okay, what do you do when you possess a shot so dominant that the NCAA bans it from all college play? Well, if you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you just changed the shot and changed the game in the process. In 1967, the NCAA was so scared of the prospect of then Lou Alcindor dunking his way to a title that they banned dunking altogether. But this solution had unforeseen consequences, one that the pros would be paying for throughout the rest of Jabbar's career, because it forced him to refine what would become the single most devastating shot in all of basketball, the Skyhook. Now, how devastating was it? Listen, Kareem is still the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, and he only made one three-point shot in his entire career, and that should tell you something. Neil deGrasse Tyson made a whole podcast about what the Skyhook did to the physics of basketball, and there's a reason for that if you think about it, okay? Say you're in the NBA in the 80s, you're on defense, and by some miracle, you've just managed to stop the fast break of the Showtime Lakers. You're good, right? Wrong. Because that's the moment Magic Johnson holds up a fist and all your good vibes vanish, because you know that means one thing. It means Kareem. See, for much of the 80s, that signal meant Johnson just called for somebody's execution, and whatever poor soul Jabbar met in the post would certainly meet the basketball gods, and typically it was his Skyhook that made the introduction. That's why the 80s Lakers were unsolvable. Behind door number one was Magic with one of the best fast breaks you've ever seen, but even if you somehow get past that level, behind door number two lurked the final boss with the single most lethal shot in the history of the NBA. Basically, Kareem in the post was as inevitable as Thanos, and the Skyhook was his infinity gauntlet. Dread it, run from it, you knew it was coming, but you still couldn't stop it. But why? What makes the Skyhook so dope, and if it is, why is Kareem the only dude to ever really build a career with it? The answer is actually really simple, but to get it, you first need to understand what a Skyhook is, what it ain't, and why Kareem is one of a kind. See, every NBA center has the same goal when they get the rock: score the basketball. But while Shaq would go through you and Hakeem would dream shake around you, what made Kareem's Skyhook unstoppable was that he did neither. He'd just rise up over you. And because of his technique, you virtually had no chance to stop it. But before we get to that, do you see that right there? And this? What about this right here? Yeah, none of those are Skyhooks. Those were all hook shots, and there were ways that the defense could have adjusted. There was actually hope. But this right here, this is Kareem's classic Skyhook, and once it leaves the hand, you can almost see the hope leave the defender's body. And Kareem never deviated. It always looked the same. Shoulders in line with the hoop to create separation, left arm extended to keep the defender away, and the ball released at just the right moment to fall at the bottom of the net. That's why the Skyhook was demoralizing, because with the right technique, you had to be Wilt Chamberlain or Manute Bol to even have a prayer. And what are you gonna do? Double them? If you did that, you just leave one of the other Hall of Famers to run wild. It was unfair. You usually don't have to choose between two options as dangerous as Kareem and Magic without signing a waiver or a will first. Which brings us back to the simple reason why Kareem's Skyhook was so unstoppable. It's because he's so tall. Though most people think that Kareem developed the Skyhook later in his career as his body broke down, that's just not true. Yeah, Jabbar is 7'2", so his Skyhook's release point was at about 11 feet in the air when he let it fly, or basically unreachable to most mortals. But the real reason Kareem's Skyhook was so efficient was that he was so tall and small in the 5th grade. See, Kareem practiced the Skyhook since childhood because when he was a Kareem-sized child, all of the people his height were actually older older and stronger than him. Jabbar said that he had to put that shot in his bag, otherwise he'd just get the ball smashed in his face by stronger, older competition. Instead, Jabbar used the Skyhook to smash the record books. Remember when I said the NCAA changed the rules to stop Kareem? Yeah, didn't work. Jabbar won 3 consecutive championships with 3 Most Outstanding Player awards to match. And when he got to the pros, nothing changed but the stage. Kareem won 3 league MVPs and a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks before he ever got to the Lakers. Let that sink in. Dude had a whole Hall of Fame career before he went to LA. And when he did, he had another, tacking on 3 more MVPs and 5 more rings. Jabbar's list of accomplishments is so gaudy that it'd take too long to even list the high points. So I'm just gonna leave this right here and say this. No matter who our personal GOATs are, we all need to take a deep breath and acknowledge that our baller will never match Kareem's trophy case, ever. He even won 3 straight championships in high school too. And if the word winner ever got an NFT, it better be a picture of Kareem. And if there's ever one for game winner, that better be of the Skyhook, because that's what it did in the biggest moments. It was the Skyhook that Kareem used in the final moments of the '85 finals to get that ring. And when Jabbar broke Wilt Chamberlain's scoring record in '84, it was the Skyhook that he used to do it. The NBA is full of signature moves, like Iverson's crossover or Harden's step back, but none equal the Skyhook because none directly contributed to so much winning. Even Shaquille O'Neal calls the Skyhook one of the most effective shots ever, but he never added it to his bag. For some reason, the Skyhook was never cool. Kareem himself even admits that it was already going out of style when he learned it in the 50s. Part of the excitement of watching modern stars like LeBron James or Steph Curry do their thing is that they seem to improvise every time they touch the rock. But if you stop the music to the Lakers show, that's when the improvisation stopped too. And that's when you were met with the cold inevitability of Kareem's Skyhook blotting out the sky. So no, the Skyhook ain't for everybody, and honestly, it may not be for anyone but Kareem. But ain't that just how Kareem always got down? In winning time and in reality, he's a guy who will take an unpopular stand if he feels that he's right. And if you check his record, not only has he made history, but he's usually been on the right side of it too. Thanks for watching View the Right Thing. If you dig the vibe, hit the subscribe and join the tribe. Peace.